Hello, Professor Garrison.
Hello, Aurelia.
Hello, Psych 107.
For our final film assignment, we chose the movie Fight Club, and we are analyzing Edward Norton. Edward Norton is the main character in Fight Club. He has an average job as an automotive recall specialist, and his white-collar job is just unfulfilling to him in life. He tries to buy material objects to make him happy, but he is still uncontent. He has loose attachments to family and friends, while also having absolutely no significant other. He has insomnia, so he's tired when it's daytime and restless when it's nighttime. Edward's house recently burned down early on in the movie, so now he is homeless.
Tyler Durden. Tyler Durden is the alternate personality of Edward Norton. Unlike Norton, Tyler is confident and handsome, and also successful. Edward Norton basically creates this personality in his head of everything he is not, yet what he wants to be.
His psychological disorder is dissociative identity disorder. He suffers from schizophrenia and dissociative identity disorder. The sufferer is torn between two personalities. These personalities can be polar opposites, or they can only be a little bit different from each other. The sufferer experiences loss of memory and various memory gaps, which cause them to have this disorder. So at these times, the person will forget about the other personality. The DSM-V category is a psychological disorder. And it fits in the schizoaffective disorder DSM-5 295.7. And the subcategories are F25.0 or F25.1. According to Theravive, a website offering licensed counseling, common symptoms of this disorder are depression and mood disorders, hallucination, and delusion. Our character corresponds to these disorder symptoms as he envisions his dissociative counterpart as a physical entity who plots to tear down credit buildings.
Here's a picture of dissociative identity disorder and the multiple personalities that come within it. Symptoms of Edward. So, Edward is unable to cope well with his stress, and the alternate personality, which is Tyler Durden, creates a fight club that helps the main character cope with his stress of his daily life, which is the title of the movie. However, having a fight club is obviously a bad way to cope with your stress because it causes physical harm to your body. Symptoms of Edward continued. He has different personalities. Edward Norton creates a different personality in his head. His life is falling apart, so he creates a successful individual to lean on during his tough times. Symptoms of Edward, Part 3. Memory loss. Edward Norton has memory loss at different points of his disorder. While he is one personality, Tyler Durden, he forgets what he did or who he is from Edward Norton. For example, Tyler Durden created a plan to perform a money heist, and when Edward Norton's side of the personality showed up again, he was shocked about what was going on.
The missing symptoms. The narrator fails to display the ability to perceive people and things around him are unreal. This characteristic that usually corresponds to people who also have schizophrenia and dissociative identity disorder. Although Edward Norton does not create his own alternative personality, he does stay in touch with the real world throughout the movie. He goes to support groups and tries to maintain touch with his version of reality.
While there are no current treatments for dissociative identity disorder, there are forms of talk therapy. Some will engage in cognitive behavioral therapy, where the patient tries to alter their form of thinking and recognize their negative behavior, while also working on recalling those moments they can't seem to recall. There are no drugs for someone who suffers from DID, although they do treat symptoms, such as depression or insomnia.
Here's another visualization of the dissociative identity disorder.
The way dissociative identity disorder is portrayed in the film is accurate because the main character creates another version of himself and responds to it throughout the entire movie. However, Travis seems to think the movie exaggerates the disorder for cinematic entertainment. According to an anonymous individual who posted on the Sane blog and who suffers from DID, they hear voices inside their head rather than creating another version of themselves who they interact with. What differentiated this from schizophrenia is they named their voices. For example, one was named Jim. They described it as more like conscious thoughts you have in your mind.
Cultural implications. In a well-developed country like America, we consider the DID disorder as a popular disorder with many different types of treatments available. This is because there are many researchers who study this type of psychology, and we are well advanced in our psychological realm. However, in less developed countries, there are a lack of researchers, psychologicals, and even information on this disorder. Because of this, a disorder such as the DID is not explained. Some cultures can associate this disorder with religious implications such as demons or spiritual thoughts. Here are our citations that we use for all of our information, as well as Katie Garrison's awesome